Oh, hi, good morning. Was out here just taking a look at this gas canister, kind of walking about the yard. Edita had called this morning, and she has offered to have us fertilize the field for her that we worked on earlier, field 61. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Obviously, I've got the situation, as much as I really would prefer not to have to deal with it with Simon. Obviously, we've got that note he left, and I need to see what's going on, and hopefully it wasn't like it was unreasonable or anything, so hopefully that will turn out to be okay. So right now, that's kind of the only thing on our agenda. As you can see, we've done pretty well, especially yesterday. We had a pretty good payday, so we're up to 42,000 euros at this point. We're obviously going to get paid for the field work today, but I have been asking around, and it seems like the fields in the area are still significantly more expensive. So I don't know that we're going to be able to do a lot, but we might take a look and see if we can do anything with equipment. So that may be something to take a look at. So I'm going to go ahead and drive down to the shop. Edita let me know she left the equipment there. We're going to have to fill it with some of the fertilizer. She's basically told me to put that on her tab and get going on the field. So we'll do that. I'm not sure what kind of fertilizer spreader we've got. She really wasn't clear, and I'm not really one to care right now, other than the manure was definitely a little bit more interesting the other day and a lot more involved than I thought. But it's certainly nice to be learning different types of equipment so that as I get to the point where I have a field, I might have some preferences or ideas of what I want to use. So maybe it'll be something that we dealt with before, or maybe it'll be something brand new. So I do like the drive around town from certainly my house to the store. I've taken that trip a few times, so it's pretty nice. I'm beginning to wonder if the people around town just don't like seeing me around. Just the tractor's pretty dirty, but I don't really have a way to clean it. I could buy a power washer, but at this point I'm just really leery of spending any money, and while it's ugly, it's not hurting our ability to function, and obviously the tractor's pretty loud, and at some point I'm thinking this may be the first piece of equipment I try to upgrade, because my tractor is the thing that's going to determine everything else as far as what I can use. And while it's served us well for a while as we've gotten started, pulling that tiny cultivator and the tiny seeder are only going to get us so far. So I'm really going to have to think about our options as we go along. But it's nice to have some real money in our bank account so that we can consider some things. Oh wow. Looks like we've got a sprayer to put things on. So I'm going to go ahead and park this kind of out of the way. I don't think there's really anything happening over here. So yeah, let's go take a look at this. It's a Hardy Navigator 6000. I'm assuming those arms fold out. And we've got a Fendt. I've heard of those. They're green, like John Deere. I'm more familiar with John Deere being from the US, but it's a nice looking machine. So I'm going to head on in and talk to them about the fertilizer and what they think I might need, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've gotten everything done. The owners of the shop were nice enough to get me set up with the fertilizer, so we're all full there, and they've kind of given me some basic instructions, so I think I know what I need to do to make this thing operate. So let's head on over to the field and get going. So if you remember, this field is down over to the left here. Looks like that car's stopping. Well, maybe. Looked like they were stopping, but they got awfully close to me there. Maybe they assumed I was going to drive a little bit differently, so maybe it was a little bit more my fault than it was theirs. But yeah, the field's down the road here, not too far. It's kind of large, so we'll have a little bit of work cut out for us, but hopefully it won't be too terribly bad. And then we'll figure out what we do with the rest of our day. Yeah, so if I remember, it's on the other side of the trees here. Yeah, that's right. It's this field right here. So let me swing around. I think I'll go clockwise like I've done before. So I need to get this unfolded. Wow, that's... Alright, spreading out. Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't realize it was going to do that. How big is this thing going to get? Wow. Well, maybe this won't take that long at all. It looks like it's almost as big as the whole field. But obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit. But let me turn it on and start moving, and hopefully, yeah, I can kind of see where I'm at, so I think I'm alright. So let me get this going. Alright, so I think I've got everything figured out now. I was kind of playing around on the field a little bit, just making sure I knew all the controls. So I'm just going to go ahead and take care of this work out here now. I think the simplest thing will be to go around the edge and just make sure that I've got that all handled. But as I said, it's definitely, while it's a large field, it doesn't look like it's going to take much more than 4 or 5 times across to maybe get over the big part. So I'm hoping we'll move this along pretty well. And it should be a fun day getting this done, and then depending on how much time I have left, maybe, like I said, I'll just take a look. Maybe I'll talk to the guys at the shop again about equipment and just try to plan out maybe what my future plans at Hebdow will be. But this is definitely a different process than the other fields, because, you know, we had the spreader at one point, and then we had the manure spreader, but this is certainly by far the largest implement I've run so far here at Hebdow. It's a little bit of a challenge swinging around here, but I think I'm alright. So, but yeah, it's the nice thing is, like, once I get going, it's pretty straightforward here, and I can easily run around and stay pretty straight. The trick is looking out to my left. I just want to make sure I don't run off the edge of the field, because certainly I want to do as good a job here as I can in getting most of this done, but I'm definitely not going to try to get into the corners. I think that's just going to be too much to try to back this up and control it. So I'm going to miss a little bit in the corners, but I don't know that much is going to matter. And Edita kind of let me know that sometimes they did it that way themselves, and certainly other people that have done it have done that, because the crop in the corner is a very, very small portion of the field, and they'd much rather have the majority of it done than worry about getting every nook and cranny, and because it's a sprayer, obviously moving around and going back and forth sometimes uses more fertilizer than it's worth for the extra little bit they're going to get, so they said that would be okay. So I'm going to do the best I can here. I'm just trying to think. Just really nervous about Simon and what's going on there. I wish I had an idea of, first off, why he's upset with me, and if there's anything I could do to make it any better, but I really can't think of anything because I don't think I've done anything, so I have no idea why he's just so negative toward me. I've really had nothing but positive reactions, maybe neutral reactions. I guess Mayor Zabala was a little blunt with me when I raised the concern with Simon about what he had done. But other than that, everybody's been really great. So I'm definitely liking it here. And I think it'll work out. It'll be a good, fun life. It'll be, exactly what I'm looking for. Just trying to slow down a bit, get out of the cubicle life and become a farmer. Just the only thing that I'm disappointed with, I suppose, is that it would have been nice to have things be significantly less expensive so that I could get a field and get my own land quicker, because while this is nice and it gets me some money, I just think I'm going to feel very, very differently when I've got my own fields to work. But I do have to be patient. I have to understand, and not everybody's just able to jump to the top right away, and I just need to settle in and be happy with the work I'm doing, which I'm certainly am. I enjoy this. I'm out in the fresh air. I get to get paid to do work. There's, the larger farmers like Edita even give me the supplies so that I don't have to cut into my profit for that. So that's been really helpful because they're taking care of that. They're giving me the equipment. So it's helping me build up some funds quickly, but I still think I'm going to need hundreds of thousands of dollars before I can really buy a field of any substantial size. A field of any size will certainly even be tens of thousands of dollars. So I'll just keep plugging away and enjoying the days out in the field. I'm just a little nervous trying to line things up, so I'm just being really deliberate and making sure I make my turns so that I don't have to reposition. But at this point, it's definitely moving along, and so the time it's going to take won't be too bad here, but it's still probably going to take most of my day. But let me take a look. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get it done just the next time by, but I think it's going to be really close here. So probably 2 more times. So I've got to go this way, then come back, and maybe have a little bit left to finish off at the end. I'm happy today that we don't have the rain we've had recently in the last... Some of those days we had when we were happy we had a roof on our tractor and getting the work done. And I think as I was doing some research on farming, as we get closer to harvesting and so forth, I guess you're not unable to harvest in the rain, which I guess I knew. I don't know that I've seen farmers out in the rain. I just kind of figured they were avoiding it because of the mud in the fields or something, but I guess the equipment gets gummed up and things like that. So I'm hoping that when we get closer and we're able to do those things, that we won't suddenly get stuck with being unable to work. Uh-oh. Figure out what I do here. Goodness gracious. I knew it wouldn't work perfectly the whole way. That would be too much to hope for. I thought I could clear it, but I suppose I could fold it. That would make it a little easier, but I think I'm okay at this point. So there's just a little bit here. Just a question of how can I line myself up and get the majority of this done so that I don't have too much to worry about as I go forward. I think I'm alright. It's definitely a bit of a challenge, so it's nice that it's wide, but it also just makes it really hard to see and gauge what's happening. I think I'm drifting a bit here. I want to make sure that I don't have to redo portions of the field. So yeah, Edita had said she'd be willing to pay us 10,000 euros for this work. Hey, look at that. I got the currency right. I didn't say the wrong one. So maybe I'm getting more adapted to my new homeland than I thought. So that's a wonderful thing. But yeah, it looks like this is going to get this done. So I feel a sense of accomplishment, that's for sure. And then I'll be able to go collect my pay at some point, but you know, I need to get this equipment back to the store. Alright, there's definitely a lot of traffic out today, but it is a bright sunny day. Some people, I'm sure, are enjoying the beautiful weather. Although that guy in front of me with the cement truck is probably simply doing his job. And there's definitely a lot of houses around, so there's clearly a lot of villagers I've still not met. But obviously, at this point, the only people terribly interested in me being in town are the ones who need someone to do some work. So if the rest of these folks are handling their own fields, they don't have a lot of need to get to know me, so it would just be nice to maybe get a few more people, because at this point, as I said, I don't have anything else to pass my time today, and while I don't mind relaxing a bit after some pretty full days I've had recently, I don't want to get in the habit of doing that too often, because then I run into the danger of just not really earning enough money to make the progress that I'd like to make and again get my own farm going. Alright, I just kind of want to put it out of the way here so that these guys don't have any problems. So let me let them know I'm back, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I'm all done. Just let me go hop back into my tractor here. Fire that up and head back home. At this point, looks like, if I was to guess, that looks like potatoes, like potato rows. So that can be interesting. I suppose, you know, I'd kind of like to learn how everything works, but I'm just wondering how challenging it is to harvest things like potatoes. But it does look like most of the folks are getting their fields cultivated and I assume fertilized. So that's excellent. So yeah, I think I'm gonna head home, and I'm really hopeful that maybe once we have a talk, things will be better. So I'm gonna head on in, eat some dinner, and then we'll go see Simon. Alright, so I'm heading back from Editas. I went and got paid. I ended up taking a little bit longer than I would have liked, where I think it's getting a little darker, so but she told me, the good news was she knew where Simon lived. She said he's over here in the woods up this way. I guess I'll go ahead and turn on some lights to see where I'm going. But she said basically to head up to this road, and somewhere toward the end it basically like dead ends at some forest or something. I'm guessing I should go that way. Yeah, that's just a field. So, yeah, I think this has gotta be it. It is a little bit late, but I know Simon said he wanted to see us tonight and that he wanted me to stop by, so even though it's getting dark, I don't want to have any trouble, so I'm up here, see what he wants. Well, that's real interesting. Certainly makes you feel welcome. I have no idea, I just was told he was up here somewhere in the woods here. So I'll see if I can find his house. I was told it was a little run down. I think I see something over there. Hey Simon, sorry for coming by so late. You said you wanted to speak with me?
Thank you for coming by. I am a man of few words, so I shall get to the point of my invitation. I need you to leave Hebdow. There is nothing for you here anyway, with most of your holdings sold before your arrival. I will not rest until you are gone.
Well, that's not very welcoming. I don't understand what the situation is. If you'd be willing to talk about it, maybe we could do that, but I have no intention of leaving Hebdow. I really want to make a start here. I'm enjoying my time here. I've started to meet some people, and everything's been going great, aside from whatever the issue is that's going on with you, so I understand what you're asking, but I'm just going to tell you flat out, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm sorry you chose to not listen. I warned you I will not tolerate your meddling. I do not need trouble for things that happened. In my note I explained I wanted you to come by so a friend could encourage you. Meet Mishka.
What? What? Are you crazy? What?